And Deborah is our in-house psychologist. She's an educational psychologist attached to the Association of Psychology in Trinidad and Tobago. And she'll be taking you through a quick mental health segment because obviously mental health and wellness now has become so much more important, especially during this pandemic where we have been, on lockdown and isolated and social distancing, etc. So we know that's been difficult, especially for you teens, to be going through this time. So we just want to, to help you, adjust and become relaxed and to know that, we're aware of your struggles. So Deborah?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Let me just share my screen. So good morning, everyone, again. So I want to share one quote before I start. It's from Nido Kubin. It says, "Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start." What this means is sometimes we allow fear to make us stagnant, which in turn limits our upward progression and hinders us from a life of improvement. So before we begin, I want you all to, if you have any writing paper and a pencil, because there are just a couple activities that I would like you to do. You could just jot it down quickly and do it and put it on Flipgrid before next Saturday, right? So while you're getting that, I'll just continue. This presentation will be on mental health and it will identify stress, anxiety, and depression because this is the most prevalent part of what teenagers, as yourselves, are faced with, especially now with this pandemic. Anyway, this is the activity, the first activity. I want you girls to just write down this. You can jot it down anywhere and then do it after. You don't have to do it now. On one piece of paper, you write in all the positive and good words for mental health that you think. And then on another piece of paper, you write all the bad or negative words for mental health that you have heard or you presume. And afterwards, when you write those lists of words, I want you to write what you noticed. So what is meant by mental health? Mental health is something we all have. It includes our thoughts and feelings about ourselves and as well as others, how we relate to other people, how we function to our day-to-day lives, and how we cope with the ups and downs of life. Having good mental health is not about having no mental health problem. It's about feeling good enough about ourselves, being able to do what matters to us, and having the resilience to deal with the difficult situations in life. For young people like yourselves, this can be a crucial period for developing and maintaining social and emotional habits, especially at this time with our current environment. It is indeed more difficult. As a result of this, many of you may feel you're under stress or pressure at times. So what is stress? Stress is our body's response to pressure. Many different situations or life events can cause stress. It is often triggered when we experience something new, unexpected, or something that threatens our sense of self, or when we feel we have no control or little control over a situation. Every one of us deals with stress differently, and our ability to be able to cope can depend on a lot of things, such as our personality, genetic, our experiences, as well as our social and economic circumstances. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when a stress response can become useful. For example, to deliver a speech or to take part in a contest. This type of stress helps us. It pushes through our fear, positive-like manner. However, too much stress can cause negative effects, which can leave us in a permanent state of fight or flight, leaving us overwhelmed or unable to cope. And if this type of negative stress lasts long term, this is when it affects our mental health as well as our physical health. I just want to identify some stressors that adolescents or teenagers like yourselves face. School, the homework, the test, presentation, assignment deadlines, the increased responsibility at home for caring for your younger siblings. Chores can be a little bit stressful, but It is inevitable. Running errands, preparing for university or the workforce, relationships, conflict at home when you have an argument with your parents. All those things are stress that teenagers and adolescents face on a daily basis. So let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of unease. It is something that you feel when your heart starts to palpitate and you feel this anxiousness in the pit of your stomach. It is a fear, it is a worry. Now, every one of us has feelings of anxiety at some point in our lives. For example, you may feel worried about and anxious about sitting an exam. You get scared before an exam. If you have to go to the doctor, and nowadays people get an anxiety because of the COVID and catching it out there, because this is how our environment is right now. During times like these, feeling anxious can be perfectly normal, but some people find it hard to control their worries. Their feelings of anxiety are more constant and often affect their daily lives. Anxiety can affect your mental health by worrying about things a lot of the time and being unable to control the worries, having trouble concentrating, paying attention, being unable to relax because you're always, you get this kind of way that you're so jumpy, you're edgy, you're avoiding people, you feel annoyed at times, you get irritated, sometimes you can't even sleep. Let's just look at depression. Depression is a constant feeling of sadness and loss of interest, which stops you from doing normal activities. Different types of depression exist, but we wouldn't go into all that right now. This is just to touch on it. Many factors increase the risk of developing or triggering teenage depression, and that would include having issues that negatively impact self-esteem, such as obesity, peer problems, long-term bullying, or academic problems. Right now we have cyberbullying. Having been the victim or witness of violence, that is another thing that could cause depression. Physical or sexual abuse, having certain personality traits such as low self-esteem or being overly dependent. Abusing alcohol is another thing that alcohol is a depressant. Actually messes with your mind and your body. Many factors would determine mental health outcomes. The more risk factors adolescents like yourselves are exposed to, the greater the potential on your mental health. That impact will be vast. Factors that can contribute to stress during adolescence include a desire for greater autonomy, self-directing, because this is the time where you want to take charge of yourselves, pressure to conform with peers, exploration of sexual identity, and increased access to and use of technology. Now, media influence and gender norms can worsen the difference between your real life and your perceptions or aspirations for the future. The constant use of social media like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat have been proven to lead to increased feelings of anxiety and depression. It has been proven. For example, peer pressure. When friendship is conducted online and through text messaging, teenagers are doing this in a way that is not personal, it's not emotional because it lacks communication. It's easier to keep your guard up when you are texting, so less is at stake. Not hearing, seeing the effect that your words are having on the other person because the conversation isn't happening in real time. Each party or each person can take more time to consider a response. Peer acceptance is a big thing for adolescents and teenagers, and many of them care about their image based on how many likes, how many selfies they took. Who wouldn't want to make herself look cooler if they can? That's true. And we'll hear more about that in the upcoming talk. This eventually leads you to spending hours adjusting your online identities, trying to project an idealized image. All these factors, young ladies, and I'm sure there are many more, has a clear association with detrimental mental health. These are just a few tips that you can facilitate yourself with in caring for yourself. Try to recognize when stress is a problem. It is important to connect the physical and emotional signs you're experiencing when you face with these pressures. Don't ignore physical warning signs such as tense muscles, tiredness, headaches, migraines. Sometimes you're eating too much or you're not eating at all. These are the things that you have to just keep aware in the back of your mind about. Think about what's causing your stress. Write them down in columns such as things that will get better with time and things that you can't do anything about. Take control by taking small steps towards the things you can improve and make a plan to address the things that you can't. Notice your thinking patterns. Being aware of your thoughts and what is influencing your anxiety is an important step towards managing it. Being aware of your thoughts are very important. It can help you understand what contributes to your anxiety and what triggers it. This can help you to handle them differently and learn new ways to cope. Learn some skills to cope with anxiety, like self-talk. When you talk to yourself, you relax and try to become more confident in the way that you think. Talk to people. That is very important. These are some online tests for stress, anxiety, and depression that I will be uploading on Flipgrid. I can also send it for Simone and she will direct it to you. So you can all take them. It's all free. I also have some hard copy ones that I will be sending with screeners for depression and anxiety. I could put it on Flipgrid as well. So the reason that I said before that I identified with only 3 aspects on the mental health is that they are more prevalent in today's society with all the varying situations that persons under your age group have to face in. So during our breakout sessions, I will be navigating through the various rooms where I encourage you to ask questions, to voice your concerns, and to seek assistance from any and all of your facilitators. I thank you for your attention, and I hope that I can be even more helpful in the coming months. God bless you all. Thank you, Simone.
Thanks very much.